Hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Cassie and this is That Grim Reader. In today's video we are going to be checking in on my 23 in 2023 challenge. I didn't have a YouTube back when I originally did this challenge, but I made an Instagram post about it, which I might put here if I feel like it. And we're just gonna check in and see if I've read them all, what I thought of them, that kind of thing. It's going to be relatively quick fire. I don't have any of the books with me because, as I've mentioned in previous videos, they're all in the new house, so I can't read the synopsis. I'm just going to have to give a vague description if I know anything about the book. So let's get cracking. Book number 1 is The Wolf Den by Elodie Harper. I did read this one and I absolutely loved it. Don't usually read historical fiction, but it was great. I gave it 5 stars. It is about a group of women who work in a brothel back in, I don't even know, many years ago in like ancient Greece, maybe? I could be completely lying to you. But yeah, we follow them. One woman in particular who wants to become free, and it's just so good, so interesting. It's a series. There's 3 of them, I think. Don't know if there's going to be more. I need to read them because I fell in love. Book number 2 is Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke and Other Misfortunes by LaRocca. This is a funny one. I can't remember what I rated it, but I really liked the first story, and then the other misfortunes that got added in for this version of the book I was not a fan of at all. So that's a shame really, because I would have probably given it at least 4 stars if it had just been the first story. The first story is about a woman trying to sell like an antique apple peeler or something on eBay. Not eBay at all, on a forum maybe. And she strikes up a conversation and a relationship with this other woman, and it just takes a dark and weird turn. Literally couldn't tell you about the other 2 stories. So maybe there were more than 2. I have no idea. Third on the list is Finlay, Donovan is Killing It by Elle Cosimano. Again, another one that I read and really enjoyed. I think I gave this 5 stars too, or at least a 4. It is a cozy, it's lumped in with cozy mysteries, but it's not really a mystery. It's just, I don't know, like a vaguely humorous crime-ish book. We follow Finlay, who is a single mother with a terrible ex-husband, and she's a writer, and she's pitching her new book to her publisher or agent or whoever in a coffee shop, saying, oh yeah, I'm gonna kill him, basically. A woman overhears this and thinks she's literally an assassin and tries to hire her to kill her husband, and then things ensue. It's fun. It's chaotic. I really enjoyed it. I've heard that the other books kind of suck though, so I don't know if I'm going to bother continuing. This is where things start going downhill. Number 4 is The School for Good Mothers by Jessamine Chan. I did not read this one. Don't know if I'm still interested in it. Like, I'm not getting rid of it, but I don't have any real drive to read it anymore. It is about a woman who is perceived as being a bad mum for something inconsequential, I believe, and gets sent to this school to learn how to be better. I don't know. I'm kind of just making this up. It's been more than a year since I even read the synopsis, so that's probably why I'm not interested. Maybe if I read it, it would be higher on my TBR again. Book 5 is The Sanatorium by Sarah Pearse. This one I also haven't read, but I definitely still want to. It's got snowy, wintry vibes, so I plan to read it end of this year, beginning of next year. I don't really know what it's about, just I think it's a isolated mystery thriller kind of situation, and that's all I really need to know. Set in an old sanatorium, which, creepy. Good. Number 6 is Reality and Other Stories by John Lanchester. This one I read very recently. It was in my 30 books in 30 days / November wrap up video. If you haven't watched that and you're interested, it'll be up here or down there or somewhere. This is a short story collection about the horrors of technology. It's a Black Mirror-ish situation. I gave it 4 stars because I loved the majority of the stories and liked some others. Yeah, that's your lot on that one. Then we have Night Film by Marisha Pessl. This one I haven't read yet because it just seems overwhelming. It's so chunky, but it's mixed media, so I can probably get through it pretty quick if I actually sit down and give it a go. I think this is about a woman who's gone missing or been murdered. I'm just trying to figure, and I think the main character thinks that this one specific guy did it and he's trying to find proof that he's a creep, I believe. Again, my memory is the worst and I wouldn't trust anything I say in terms of remembering plots. Then we have Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister. This is another one that I read and absolutely loved. Can't remember if I gave it 4 or 5 stars, but it was so good. We follow a woman who she's looking out the window one night and she sees her son, who's, I don't know how old he is, he's like a teenager, maybe 16, 18, something like that. He's walking home and then has some sort of altercation with a guy and just stabs him. And then she goes to sleep that night and wakes up and it's the day before. And then he hasn't stabbed the man yet. So then every time she falls asleep, she wakes up more and more in the past and she's trying to figure out what happened, where she went wrong as a parent, or just what happened to her kid to make him be in this situation where he ended up killing someone. So interesting. It was a pretty unique thriller, and yeah, highly recommend. Then we have Found, an anthology of found footage horror stories. This is another short story collection, but this one was so disappointing, which is annoying because the cover is so cool. It looks like a VHS cassette. That was mostly why I bought it, and because it was horror stories, of course. I can only remember one story in which a sort of a near future post-apocalyptic-ish world and a guy and his son go sort of, it's not looting, but they go investigate old abandoned buildings and find stuff to keep or sell or whatever. And this boy finds a new bed and he takes it home, but the bed's haunted and creepy stuff happens. That's the only one I remember. That one was pretty good, but the rest, again, no memory. They've gone. Oh, and that book is it was edited by Andrew Cull and Gabino Iglesias and had like a million different authors submit their work. Then we have Rabbits by Terry Miles. This one I also didn't read. It's some sort of deadly game in which people compete and whoever wins gets potentially to work for the CIA or a stupid amount of money or immortality or the secrets of the universe. It's unclear. Like, it sounds interesting, but I have heard some less than great reviews, so it is still on my TBR, but not at the top. I'll get to it eventually. Then we have The Vegetarian by Han Kang, and this is another one that I didn't get to. I keep meaning to because it's so short, but I don't know. Most people seem to like it, but I just don't know if I care that much anymore. It is about a woman who becomes a vegetarian. I think meat starts making her ill or something. I should have looked these up before I made this video. I don't really know what it's about. But I don't really have much interest in reading it, so it's fine. Then we have The Appeal by Janice Hallett. This one I did read, and again, loved it. Clearly I picked some pretty good stories for my wish list, but the ones I got to anyway. This is a mixed media murder mystery. We follow a group of like amateur dramatics people. There's a couple who run the amateur dramatics program. Maybe they set up an appeal for their poorly child, but then maybe she's not actually ill and they're scamming people. Don't know if that's a spoiler. I don't think it is. And you're trying to find out. Maybe someone does end up dead. You're definitely trying to figure something out. I can't remember. I should reread it. That was the worst description of anything in the world. You're welcome. Then we have The Last by Hannah Jameson. I don't know what this one's about in the slightest. It's post-apocalyptic. People are trapped in a hotel. And that's it. That's all I can tell you. I haven't read it, but I do still really want to. I remember being really interested by it. So then we have Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson. I still haven't read this, and I still am absolutely dying to. I do know what this one's about. It's about a woman and her best friend from college. She hasn't really spoken to her for years, but then she suddenly gets a call or a text or an email or whatever asking her to come and help look after her two stepchildren who occasionally, when they get agitated, spontaneously combust. I think it's meant to be kind of heartwarming, but it just sounds a bit weird, so I'm into it. I want to read it very soon. Then we have Switch by A.S. King, another one that I no longer have a clue what it's about. I've just been wanting to read something by A.S. King for ages, because I've heard if you like weird books, you're going to like A.S. King. I think this is one of the more lowly rated ones, generally, but I think a girl is literally trying to find a switch in her house somewhere. I don't know. Then we have The Passengers by John Mars, another one I haven't read, and another one I do want to read. I read and really enjoyed The One by John Mars, and then I recently read The Marriage Act, which is another of his kind of vaguely sci-fi thriller ones, and that one, I liked the premise. I didn't really care for the actual execution. But anyway, The Passengers is about near future, and there's self-driving cars. A woman gets in her car to go to work or wherever, I assume, and gets to the car, just takes her to some unknown location, and I guess she has to try and escape. I don't really know. I think there's a few people, maybe, all trapped in their cars, taken to some random place. It sounds interesting. I know I don't love sci-fi, but I'm kind of into a little sci-fi twist in a murder mystery or that kind of thing, so I think I'll enjoy it. Then we have The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. And no, I don't really know what this one's about either. I assume it is about a hitchhiker and a guide to the galaxy. I haven't seen the movie. I haven't read the book. But as I mentioned in a previous video, that I think I might start trying to read some more intentionally humorous books, and I think this is meant to be funny, so I think there's like a depressed robot or a sarcastic robot or something. Everyone knows what Hitchhiker's Guide is about. I'm the only one who doesn't, so don't think I need to explain it here. Then we Had to Remove This Post by Hanna Bervoets? I have no idea how to say your name, sorry. Which is about a woman who works for what is it even called? I don't know what it's called, but she, before videos can be published online, she sees them and has to say whether they're suitable or not. Like someone killing a cat with a bat, you can't put that up online, but if you just have the dead cat in the background and someone saying that they killed it with a bat, that's fine, because you're not seeing the actual violence. Like, it's very specific rules that she has to follow. But it wasn't really as much about the horrors of what she went through as I thought it was going to be. So I think I was a little bit disappointed by it from that perspective. Maybe if I'd gone in with the right expectations, I would have enjoyed it more. Because I think a lot of people have really enjoyed this book. So yeah, if you are interested in it, I'd say give it a go, but just go into it with the right expectations. And then this next one pains me. It is Salt Slow by Julia Armfield, and it was probably my biggest disappointment of the year so far. I adored Our Wives Under the Sea, and I could not wait to get my hands on this short story collection because I just wanted more from the author. And it was so disappointing. I can't remember a single one of the stories now. I just know that I was sad the whole time I was reading it because it wasn't enjoyable to me at all. I think I gave it a 2-star, and that was probably me being generous because I loved the author's previous work. I don't want to say anymore. Let's move on. Then we have A Sliver of Darkness by C.J. Tudor. This is another one that I haven't read yet. It is another short story collection. I don't know the specific premise of any of the stories, but it is a horror collection. And I haven't actually read anything by C.J. Tudor yet, but there's a few on my TBR. So, yeah, I want to get to that one really quite soon. Then we have Dial A for Aunties by Jessie Satanto, which I loved. It was so fun. This is another kind of lumped with cozy mystery, but it's not a mystery. We follow a girl and her 4 aunties who run like a wedding business. One of them makes the cakes and the food. One of them plans the actual pie. Another one does something else. One of them does the makeup and hair and stuff. And the main character, she goes on a blind date with a guy and accidentally kills him, or he accidentally dies somehow. She hides him in the boot of her car. Does she? I think she does. And then they're just trying to hide the fact that this guy is dead throughout this wedding, basically. It's fun, it's stupid, but I really, really enjoyed it. I give it maybe 4 or 5 stars. Then Magma by Thora Hjorleifsdottir. This was a really tough read, but a really good one. This was also in my 30 books in 30 days. And it is about a girl in an abusive relationship, and it is tough to read, and it's brilliant, and it's just read it, but check trigger warnings, because I think there's explicit assault shown in there, and yeah, it was a lot, but it was really, really good. I gave it 4.5 stars. And then finally, we have Gwendy's Button Box by Stephen King and Richard Chismar. This is a little novella in which a little girl is given a box with a load of buttons on and told that not to press them. She just has to protect, well, she can press them if she wants, but just to protect it from anyone else pressing them. And she goes through her life trying to guard this box, and it's a bit odd, but it's really, really good. It was so compelling. And Gwendy, the guy that gave her the box, no, Gwendy's the girl. Whoever the guy is that gave her the box pops into her life every so often, and stuff happens, and can't say anything. It's a series, but I don't. The other ones are actual full-length novels, and they're just by Richard Chismar, which is fine. But if they were novellas, I think I'd read them, but I'm not interested enough in the concept to read a full-length novel. So if I can count, I think I've read 13 out of 23, which is, it's alright. It's better than half, I guess. I don't know how many more I'll get to before the end of the year, maybe 1 or 2. I really want to read Nothing to See Here at least, but we'll see. Did you do the 23 in 2023 challenge? How many did you get through? Hopefully you did better than me. If I should be prioritising any of these ones, do let me know, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!